Hello and welcome. Testing. Practice. Lost my lighter. There it is. Reading for a general collective. We have my personal favorite deck. This is, you can see, she's very worn, very used. Hello, by the way. My name is Owen, and I am a practicing witch. And this is something new to me, so I'm gonna start seeing if I can get some people some messages. So it's be a collective reading for anybody and everybody who resonates with the messages. Take what resonates, leave behind what doesn't, and thank you for your patience. And if you like what I've got going on, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and grab yourself some coffee, get yourself real comfy, and we'll get started. I've already lit us a candle. We have some selenite and a moonstone and some birch. I think birch. I'm not sure exactly, but beautiful little nature. So I have here with me the Greenwich Oracle deck. My own personal deck. I don't remember who made it. I should look that up. And then my literary witches Oracle deck, which is beautiful, by the way. Like one of my all-time favorites. All-time favorite. But this has a mixture of authors and symbols. So first, let's get a general vibe. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me connect. Get some okay. So we have fertility, watermelon, grounding, potato, chives for divination, which is what you're probably watching this video for. So on the right track. Just kidding. And then this is fitting because it's almost September. It's almost spooky season. But Kent pumpkin for productivity. And here we have I need to brush up on my zodiac signs, but I think that's Gemini or Libra. We have Scorpio energy here. Scorpio energy again. I might be talking to someone who is heavy. Their chart is heavy in Scorpio. And then we have, I'm not quite sure what that sign is. I will definitely, this is my first reading that I've done before professionally. Make sure that's still on. Sorry. Okay. So watermelon, potato, chives, and Kent pumpkin. I think you might be a creative type of person. Maybe lately you've kind of felt unconnected to yourself and things you like to do and things you want to do. And I think fall is an excellent time to remember the things that bring us joy and the passions that we have. I don't know, for me personally, I love Halloween, and usually about Halloween is when I start to feel the most alive. So if you're a practicing witch, or if you do any kind of things like that, you can celebrate Samhain. I think Samhain today, this year. But your numbers, you have 29, 5, 14, and 8. So it feels like things have been going kind of fast. Maybe you are being called right now to take a moment to yourself and do the things that fill up your own cup. We have the Queen of Swords, the Magician. I do read cards reversed for those who may wonder about that. So if they fall reverse, I'll read them. But we have the Queen of Swords, the Magician, the Emperor, and the Eight of Wands. You may be having some kind of split going on within yourself, like an internal divide. What I'm feeling, specifically with the Queen of Swords and the Emperor. Life might be calling you to be a little bit more masculine right now than you previously have been in your life before. And maybe that's the place of reconnection for you, is to, we have the fertility card, and usually fertility is connected with womanhood and, matriarchy and goddesses and whatnot. Some of the first goddesses are fertility goddesses. So maybe it might be you feel disconnected from your own identity that's tied within your gender, but also within your energy too, because we all hold within ourselves masculine and feminine energy. I don't believe one is completely like no one's completely masculine and no one's completely feminine. And it's okay to be in one zone when you're normally in the other zone. It's okay to be across that barrier, because know that you can come back. I think maybe it's figuring out a way to jump back and forth between those two roles, maybe. Let's see what else we got. Oh, interesting. Showed that to y'all twice. Skull. Okay. Forgive me, I've got to make some room here. Maybe not light anything on fire. Alright, so I'm going to set those up there. Trying to keep those in frame. Oh. There we go. A little bit better. Making sure that's done. Tried to do my mic for like 15 minutes. This is a very random thing that I'm doing. Just turned on the camera and started filming. This is something I've been wanting to do. So, but I have yet to put into action. But from this deck, the Literary Witch's Oracle, and I'll read from it as well. We have the Skull and Teacup. And anything more from this deck? Interesting. Okay, so we have the Bees. And then we have Sylvia Plath, the Dark. I got a new ring light, so. Oh, brighter. I don't know if you can see that. It's okay. Okay. So I love this little book. It's so nice. I'll start with the author. So Sylvia Plath, The Dark. Living in the dark, intensity, fury. Born in Boston, Sylvia Plath was a social and academic success in spite of severe depression and suicide attempts. On a Fulbright scholarship to Cambridge University, she met and married the poet Ted Hughes. While Hughes philandered and kept bees, Plath stayed at home with 2 young children and wrote increasingly brilliant, scary poetry that made use of her anger at her husband and father, intense mental states, and obsession with death. At 30, Plath ended her life by putting her head in the oven. Pretty brutal. Really big coincidence, though. Bees. So yeah, I do feel like that there's this like inner war going on between your feminine and masculine energy. I think maybe you're experiencing higher masculine energy and frequency, and it's not normally a place that you like to find yourself occupied in, and you feel like it's threatening who you are as a person, your identity, your values, and causing strife within relationships that you previously didn't have strife in. I think there's like a restlessness going on that can really only be sorted out if you actually look at what is going on. Why am I feeling this way? You know, contextualize what's going on. How am I feeling? What's being brought up in my memory? Because this could be triggering something from your past. That may be the reason why whatever energy, whatever situations that's happening right now, you may be feeling like, whoa, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not who I am. And it may be triggering that like fight or flight response because of something traumatic that had happened in your childhood or in your young adult. I feel like I'm talking to someone who is middle-aged, young adult, at least like 21 to 35. Definitely, you may have a kid. Let's see, I get a little bit more. Give me a little bit more about direction. I can do. We have the Sun reversed, Ten of Swords. I'll re-reverse that. It's reversed. I'll tell you, I read reversals. Ten of Swords. And the Three of Swords reversed. So yeah, definitely bringing up something from your past that you may not know had happened and or don't want to think about and or talk about. Because it might be really hard and really scary and it may hurt and you may have to take a moment and take a step back. Yeah. It feels very restrictive in a way that you weren't expecting. I think you may go through life where you like kind of approach problems head on and you solve them and you move on. But this time it's not moving on as quickly because it's not just a cut and dry problem. It is a problem that is intermeshed within your entire body and identity and experiences on this earth. And that's okay to have experiences that we don't know about, but it is our kind of our responsibility to dive deep into those and figure out what we need to do to move forward, to move on, and to resolve the turmoil. And sometimes it is looking it dead in the face, grabbing a little journal, jotting down what's triggering you, what's making you think of, and going from there. Of course, if it gets too heavy, always seek out therapeutic advice. Therapists are great. If you don't go to therapy, you should maybe think about going to therapy. And maybe that might be something you hear a lot, that people are like, maybe not pushing you to go to therapy, but people are like, well, maybe you should. And maybe you feel like you've never had to. You've always had your head really straight on your shoulders. But therapy is there just as a helping hand. It's not there to be the deciding factor on whether or not someone is like acceptable and or unacceptable in our society, despite the stereotypes around it. I do feel like you need to break down the way that you see the world. I'm getting this with the Sylvia Plath and her eye. She had a very interesting and definitely dark perspective on the world and her life. I think maybe that's a caution here, is to not get too enwrapped in this feeling of anger and resentment, to remind yourself to take it easy, you know. It doesn't have to be so serious all the time, you know. You don't have to win all the time. I don't know why I felt like I needed to say that. Sorry, just making sure my microphone's still happening. But yeah, I don't think you need to worry about winning all the time. I think you can give it a rest. You can put no one's people are gonna watch you, people are gonna judge, but nobody is grading you right now. I mean, maybe if you're going for a job interview, but guess what? There's a lot of different jobs out there, so don't know why that felt significant to say as well. But I think maybe stop putting the mirror in your face for a second and just be however you feel like you need to be without fearing judgment from others. Again, the world is a little bit scary right now, so do it in the way that you can. Any more messages for this collective? Nope. I replied on this one. The Purification Snapdragon. And I believe that's a Pisces and 41. It's interesting. We have divination, which is 14, which is the inverse. Purification, divination, yeah. So maybe if you're afraid to like dive deep into spiritualism or anything like that, maybe because of religious beliefs or how you've been brought up, maybe be less judgmental and dip your toes in it. I mean, you're here. If this is reaching the right person, I mean, you're here already. You're listening to me. I'm literally a practicing witch. I literally have tarot cards. It's not scary. It's not demonic. It's not satanic. It literally is a form of therapy and advice and spiritual guidance. And I do believe that there is a team on the other side for this collective that is really wanting you to connect. And they understand that you have to do that in your own way and in your own time. So they're there whenever you want to. But it might be a good idea to put the mirror down. Remind yourself and emulate who you want to be, who you see yourself as, who you believe yourself to be. And then try something new. If that's witchcraft, if that's spiritualism, great. If that's divination, great. If that's, just a little bit of herbal magic, planting new seeds, it's great. But you don't have to go all deep into it, but follow your curiosity and don't worry about what others think. Okay. Any last messages? Oh. Don't worry so much about that person. They're gonna be fine. They love you. I don't know why that was necessary, but we got the 2 of Cups. So you do have a close bond with this person that just came through, and a deep understanding, and they have deep respect for you as well. So I think you try to push them away and try to input your own thoughts into their heads when that's really not what you need to do. Just trust that you know who you are and you treat this person well. And we all have our bad moments. We all get into fights with our significant others, and it's just a part of life. It's just part of relationships. But just know that like this one is one worth keeping, worth fighting for. Just communicate whenever you need space and boundaries. We have justice as well. So I do feel like things will work out for you. Sorry, my phone died there for a second. So if the audio is now a little bit less than it was, that's why, because I had to put it on the charger. But let me finish up this reading for this collective real quick. So we have the last cards I pulled were 2 of Cups, Justice, and the King of Cups. I do think embracing the things that make you feel like you're not being yourself may be the way to reconnect with yourself. I don't know if that makes sense for anybody. But I don't think we should be afraid of opposite energy. I think learning how to blend and mesh those two together can really be more beneficial than trying so desperately to keep them apart. Because these things are meant to be together. You know, we're all meant to be a part of one another, whereas we're part of other people. You know, everything's in and out. You know, it's all together. You know, we all have vines twisted into us through other people, invisible strings that we don't quite see. But they're there, and I think don't be afraid to be curious, trust yourself, and know that as long as you're doing what you need to be doing, things will work out for you. Okay, one more. Let's see. Sorry, I just like keep getting called to pull a little bit more. Okay, wow. So we have Toad. And then we have Yumiko Karashi, which is transformation. And then Maria Sabina, healing. So yeah, I think you're being called right now to really dive deep into curiosities that make you feel estranged from others, but trusting yourself enough to know that this is the way to reconnect to yourself and to be better, or to have an easier time showing up for the other people in your life without that anger and frustration and bitter wall block around you. I think it's time to adapt. So hopefully that resonates for somebody. If it does, please leave a comment. If you would like a specific reading, I don't really do love readings. I don't really like them. But if you have an idea for a reading, please drop it down in the comments below. Take care. Have a wonderful night and sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.